After 2 months of waiting, the Nascar Authentic Hot Wheels Cup Series returns for Season 2 with the Daytona 500, as qualifying is here today, which will set the front row for the Daytona 500, while the rest of the field will be set with the Duels, which 2 cars will set the fastest times today and sit on the front row for the 500. Now let's take a look at your qualifying procedure today. Each car will have 1 attempt to set their fastest lap at Daytona, and again, only the front row will be decided, the rest of the field will be set in the Duels. There are 8 open drivers that will fight for 3 spots in the Daytona 500. Those drivers include Justin Haley in the 16, Kiko Moon in the 78, Nemechek in the 38, Dillon in the 13, Rosh Chastain in the 40, Joey Gase in the 7, Stenhouse Jr. in the 37, and Kyle Larson in the 01. Now this will be the only qualifying that we will do throughout the season, as Chris Buescher will lead the field down, and then we'll end with Chase Elliott. Now without further ado, let's get the qualifying underway. Our first driver up is Chris Buescher. He's making his first start in the Nascar Authentic Hot Wheels Cup Series for the Roush Funway number 17 as he goes down the track. He's going to set the preceding time with a 3.21 second time. Next up is Erik Jones in the 20 car. He finished 24th in points, and he was runner-up at the Northville City Race Center last season. And down he goes, and it looks like he bobbled off the wall, and it's going to be a 3.65 for Erik Jones that will put him second. Next up is Kevin Harvick. He finished 25th in points last season and was 4th at the Charlotte Roval. He had a struggling year. Let's see if he can do any better. And down he goes, and it looks like he's going to get a 3.20, and that will put him on pole for the moment. Next up, we have Kevin Harvick's teammate Cole Custer. He's a rookie, and that 41 car was driven by Daniel Suarez last year and made it into the Final Four. Let's see how he does for his qualifying lap. And he's going to take the pole at the moment with a 3.16, beating out Harvick's time by 0.4 of a second. Next up, from Summit City Racing, is Joseph West. He finished 19th in points last season and had his highest finish 6th at Las Vegas, as here he goes. And it's going to be a slow run, and he's going to get a 3.56. That'll put him 4th at the moment. Next up, we got the 8 car of Tyler Reddick. He's a rookie this year, and he raced in 5 races last season, and he replaced Daniel Hamrick in the 8 car at Las Vegas after a crash at the Northville City Race Center. And it's going to be a slow time for Tyler Reddick, as that's going to put him 4th with a 3.29 second time. Next up is the 11 car of Denny Hamlin. He was in 21st in points last season and was so close to winning at Las Vegas, had a little mistake, and so he's going to hope for a good qualifying time here, and he does. He gets a 3.12, besting Cole Custer's time by 0.04 of a second. Up next is Matt DiBenedetto. He moves over to the Wood Brothers number 21 after having a struggling year with Levine Family Racing number 95. And down he goes, and that move probably is going to pay off, as he's going to start currently 3rd with a 3.17, so close to getting the pole. Up next, Kurt Busch. He finished 22nd in points last season and had a 3rd place finish at Northville City. He's hoping for a better result this year as well, as here he goes. It looks like he hits the wall, and that's going to be a 7th place performance, a 3.38. Not a good time for Kurt Busch. Next up is his teammate, Matt Kenzeth. Kenzeth is making his first NASCAR Authentic Hot Wheels Cup Series start. Let's see what he can do in that 42 car. Here he goes, and it looks like a solid run. He had a little bobble near the end. He's going to start 6th with a 3.22 second time, 10 seconds off the pace. Up next, we got our first open driver, Justin Haley. He's making his NASCAR Authentic Hot Wheels Cup Series debut. Let's see what he can do. Down he goes, and he's going to set the benchmark time for the open drivers in 11th place performance with a 3.69. Remember, the highest open driver will lock themselves into the Daytona 500. Up next, in the number 95 car from Levine Family Racing, it is Christopher Bell. He is a rookie this year, and he will join Cole Custer and Tyler Reddick in their Rookie of the Year chase. And Bell is going to get a 9th place performance with a 3.42 second time. Up next, Kiko Moon. He made his debut last season in the 78 at Talladega. Let's see what he can do in the 78 car for Furniture Row Racing. And it's off, and it's going to be a slow time. It's not going to be enough to... It's going to be behind Justin Haley's time at 3.89, so he's going to have to make his way through the Duels if he wants to make it into the 500. We got another open driver. We got a rookie, John Hunter Nemechek. He's going to try to make it in the 500 with Front Row Motorsports. So let's see what happens here. Down he goes, and it may be a good time here. It's going to be a 3.3. That's going to be ahead of Justin Haley's time, so he's going to set the fastest time of the Open drivers so far. Up next, we got Aric Almirola. He finished 17th in points last season and had a 6th place finish at Phoenix. He's hoping for a good result this year after having so many near last place performances last year. And he's going to be 4th with a 3.19 700ths off the pole's time. Next up, we got Ty Dillon. He's an Open driver and finished 28th in points last season as a full-time driver. This year, he's going to be a part-time driver, and that's probably why. He's going to get a DNF in the qualifying and will start in the back for the duels. Next up, we got Kyle Busch. He struggled last year as he only finished 18th in points. He's hoping for a better season this year as down he goes. And he's going to bobble off the wall, and this doesn't look like a good time. 13th with a 3.53. Tough luck for Kyle Busch. Rosh Chastain is making his NASCAR Authentic Highways Cup Series debut as an Open driver in the Chip Ganassi 40 car. Let's see how he goes, and this is going to be a slow time. It's going to be a 3.76. He's going to have to race his way through the Open. Bubba Wallace in the Richard Petty number 43 is up next. He never made it into a final segment last year. He's hoping to change it this year. Down he goes, and this looks like a really good time, and it is. He's going to take the pole with a 3.09, 300ths above Denny Hamlin's time. Paul Menard makes his final start in the Summit City number 08 car, as Kyle Larson will take over that car after this race. And it's going to be an okay time for Paul Menard. He's going to finish 10th with a 3.33 second time. Next up, we got another Open driver, Joey Gase in the number 7 car. He drove in 2 races last season for North Star Racing. He is driving for Brickware Racing in the 7 car. It's not going to be a good run as he's going to get a DNF and join Ty Dillon in the back of the pack for the duels. Next up, Ricky Stenhouse Jr. He moves over to JT Journey Racing after finishing 15th in points for Roush Fenway Racing last season. He's hoping to make it into the 500, and this could be a good time. Not enough for to lock himself in. He's going to have to race in the duels with a 3.4 second time. Next up, Martin Truex Jr. finished 16th in points last season, had a 7th place run at Northville, which was his best run last year. Down he goes. This could be a decent time, and no, it's not. It's a 3.34, and that's going to put him 11th for now. So next up, the last Open driver, Kyle Larson. He finished 9th in points after making it into the playoffs in the 42 car last season. He moves over to Summit City Racing, and it's going to be a 3.29. That's going to beat out John Hunter Nemechek's mark and give him the lock inside the Daytona 500. Up next, we have your champion from last season, Jimmie Johnson. He looks to win another championship in his final season in the NASCAR Authentic Highways Cup Series. He was also a winner at Las Vegas and Bristol, and a very good time, a 3.10 second time. That's 100th off Bubba Wallace's time. Jimmie Johnson's teammate William Byron is up next. He was 13th in points and almost made it into the playoffs. He had a 3rd place run at Martinsville to be his best run so far. And here he goes, and it's going to be a 6th place performance with a 3.19 second time. Next up, in the number 31 car is Daniel Hamrick. He moves over to the 31 car as RCR moves to 3-car team. He was a winner at Talladega and is looking for a good performance here today. In a fast run, it's going to be enough for a pole. A 3.03 second time puts him on pole. Up next from Summit City Racing is 81 car of Eddie Gallagher. He was 12th in points and barely made it into the playoffs last year. Had a 7th place run at Phoenix, and this is not going to be a very good time. It's a 12th place run with a 3.26 second time. Daniel Suarez makes the biggest move of the offseason last year as he moves over to North Star Racing. He finished 4th in points as managed to make it into the Final Four, and he was a winner at Kansas. So here he goes, and it's going to be a 7th place performance with a 3.18 for now. Next up, last year's Daytona 500 pole sitter is Austin Dillon. He was 2nd in points and was a winner at Michigan last season. Let's see if he can get his 2nd Daytona 500 pole. And down he goes, and it's going to be for another pole sitting time, a 3-second time for Austin Dillon. Puts him on pole. Up next was your winner at Martinsville, Alex Bowman. He's looking for a better season after finishing 11th in points last season. Here he goes. It looks like it's going to be a decent run, and it's going to be a 6th place with a 3.13 second time. A great run for Alex Bowman in the number 88. Next up, we got the 22 machine of Joey Logano. He was 8th in points and finished 5th in 4 different races last season. He's looking for his first win this season. Here he goes. And this is going to be a decent run. It's going to put him third for the moment, a 3.06 time, 600ths off the pole sitting time of Austin Dillon. Up next, we got Ryan Blaney. He finished 5th in points last season and won at the Phoenix Raceway. Could he possibly sit on pole for the Daytona 500? Let's see. And it's not going to be enough for a pole with a 3.10 time, but that's going to put him 5th at the moment. Up next is Clint Bowyer. He finished 10th in points last season and was the winner at the Homestead Miami Speedway in the final race of the last season. He's looking for a good result this year as he bobbles off the wall. It's going to be a poor run, 17th with a 3.23 second time. Next up, we got Ryan Newman. He was a 3-time winner last year and after the regular season looked like a title favorite, but ultimately would not make it past the round of 8. And here he goes. Let's see what kind of run he gets. He's going to start 8th with a 3.13 second time. We only have 2 drivers up left. We have Brad Keselowski now. He was 3rd in points last season and was your Daytona 500 winner last year. Let's see what kind of run he can get here. And this is not going to be a very good run. It's going to put him 18th as he's going to start back in the pack for the duels. He's going to have to race his way to a better position in the duels. Our final driver is Chase Elliott, and that means Austin Dillon is locked into the front row. So can Chase Elliott either get the pole or start on the front row? Let's see. And he doesn't look like it's going to be enough. It's going to be a 24th place run with a 3.31 second time. So Chase Elliott will not sit on pole. And it will be an RCR sweep of the front row. Austin Dillon will start 1st and Daniel Hamrick will start 2nd. Joey Logano finished 3rd in qualifying, followed by Bubba Wallace, Jimmy Johnson, Ryan Blaney, Denny Hamlin, Ryan Newman, Alex Bowman, and Cole Custer rounding out your top 10. Now remember, this is not their official starting positions for the 500, as the duels will determine the rest of the field. As here's your cars who are near the back. Kyle Larson was your open fastest qualifier of the open drivers, so he locks himself in. Numerous drivers who struggled include Tyler Reddick in the 8 car, Chase Elliott in the 9 car, Paul Menard in the 08 car in his final start, as numerous drivers are going to have to race their way in the duels. And here is what the duels will look like. Austin Dillon and Joey Logano will lead Duel 1, while Daniel Hamrick and Bubba Wallace will lead Duel 2. So this could get interesting, as remember, the highest driver of the open drivers, the 01, the 16, the 78, the 38, the 40, the 7, the 13, and the 37 in each of those duels. Whoever's the highest will lock themselves into the Daytona 500 and join Kyle Larson in the 500. So Austin Dillon and Daniel Hamrick are celebrating victory lane as they are locked into the front row. So no matter what happens in the duels, they will be locked into the front row and stay there. So it's an RCR sweep, as this is Austin Dillon's 5th pole in his Nascar Phoenix Hot Wheels career. And as like we said earlier, Kyle Larson was your open driver who had the fastest qualifying time, so he is locked into the Daytona 500. So that will conclude the Daytona 500 qualifiers. Up next, we will have the Daytona Clash, where all the segment winners from last season will compete and try to win 5 playoff points and 5 season points as a reward. So I'm A North, and I'll see you for the Clash.